A sitting U.S. congressman is under fire after sending sexually explicit material to his staffer. When she said that it was going too far, the messages continued. And eventually, she was found dead from a suicide. Now that those texts have been recovered, the House Ethics Committee is involved, and members of that congressman's own party is calling for his resignation. This is a clear case of abuse of congressional power and a litmus test for whether or not those that are the most powerful people in the country will actually be held accountable for their corruption. According to reporting from Mediaite, a forensic extraction of staffer Regina Santos Avila's phone shows Representative Tony Gonzalez repeatedly sending late night messages requesting sexy pics, sexual conversations, and explicit comments about intimacy. Santos Avilas declined to send photos, but those conversations continued for weeks, even after she asked and pleaded the congressman to stop sending her sexually explicit material. Santos Avilas declined to send photos, but the exchanges continued for several weeks even after she demanded that the congressman stop sending her sexually explicit material. This is not just a story about inappropriate text messages. This is about hierarchy and clear power imbalances. Was a sitting member of Congress who messaged a subordinate whose entire job, career path, and professional development is dependent on her boss. Attorneys representing Santos Avila's family argue that the power imbalance raises serious concerns about coercion, even without explicit threats. And multiple former staffers have also described what they characterize as a toxic workplace environment within Gonzalez's office. In congressional offices, staff positions are competitive and politically dependent. When the person texting you controls your career, the line between personal and professional doesn't exist at all. Now, the matter is under review from the House Ethics Committee. Gonzalez has described these as politically motivated smears, but when he was pressed specifically from reporters, this is what he had to say about the case.
We've been trying to reach out to you multiple times to ask. Multiple media outlets have reported that you've had an affair with Regina Santos Aviles. Is there any response you have to that?
We're here at Fort Sam. We're here at Fort Sam unit at the ceremony. Please have some respect.
I understand, but veterans fought for my right to ask you questions.
Yeah, please have some respect. You didn't have any respect for the staffer that you continued to sexually harass. Do you not realize how much power you have as a sitting congressman? This woman took her own life, likely because of the harassment that she had to deal with at her job. You are disgusting.
Yeah, and that's the only time we've been able to ask Gonzalez those questions. We have reached out to Gonzalez's office twice today, but they refused to answer any of our requests since September, actually.
This tragedy has caused a lot of political buzz, and reactions within Washington have been swift. Even representatives from the Republican Party, Gonzalez's own party, are calling for his resignation. Lauren Boebert, not a liberal Republican, she is a Republican partisan through and through, a staunch supporter of Donald Trump. He has said that Gonzalez needs to resign, and his comments are reprehensible to his own staffer. Nancy Mace, another very strong Republican partisan, she has said that this is disgusting and inexcusable. This isn't opposition party criticism. This is internal political pressure. And there will be some accountability for Gonzalez if the Republican Party wants to seem consistent on actually promoting family values. But if Gonzalez actually does resign and his party holds him accountable, this creates an entire new landscape within the House of Representatives. Right now, Republicans currently hold one of the smallest House majorities in nearly a century. If Gonzalez were to resign, the margin could shrink to 217 to 214. That is a 3 seat majority. And it's razor thin where every single vote matters. A single resignation affects governing, and leadership has almost no margin of error. We already have defectors. Thomas Massey has voted with the Democrats in the past. There have to be more concessions if they continue to lose support to political scandals, sexual affairs, or deaths. Can we make sure that that's held consistently, though? This shouldn't just be for one member of Congress. This should be for every person in elected office that abuses their position. The party should have consistency. So maybe like I don't know, a president who's been held civilly liable of sexual abuse. If abuse of power is disqualifying, is that principle being held consistently? Because ethical standards only work if they're universal. Otherwise, it just becomes selective. And selective accountability isn't accountability. You have to apply that equally, even to your cult leader. We need to see accountability happen. And we need to monitor the fallout of this scandal to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Justice has to be upheld equally. We all should be equally protected under the law, even if our abuser is a sitting congressional member. This is about workplace power within Congress. It's about whether ethical standards actually mean something, and it's about whether or not the people that write the laws for our land actually have to follow them themselves.